Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV and some side quests within Elpis. Now, I think we begin with this academia student. You're a visitor too, aren't you? Perhaps you might be willing to help me? Did you happen to see a blue-haired woman in the area? She wouldn't have been wearing a mask. Nope. Let's see, she and I are students of Academia and Nida, and we had intended to spend our downtime visiting Elpis together. We were just on our way back when she realized she forgot something in Anagnoresis, so she went back. And that's the last I saw of her. She can be a bit, how shall I put it, scatterbrained, so she may well have simply got lost on her way back. I would rather not search for her myself, for what if she comes back while I'm away? So, if it's not too much trouble, perhaps you would be so kind as to look for her? Like us, she won't be wearing a mask, and so should stand out of touch. You'll find her in the area of Philometus Notos in all likelihood. If you do come across her, could you help her out a bit? See what she makes it back? You blue-haired student. Yes, can I help you? Oh wait, do you need direction somewhere? Not to be rude, but I beg of you, ask someone else. I happen to be lost myself. Your friend asked me to help you. What was that? A woman asked you to come and find me? That would be my friend, no doubt. How embarrassing. I'd hoped to keep this hopelessly directionless side of myself under wraps. I feel terrible leaving her like that, but I'd clean forgotten a task from one of my professors. I rushed back to collect the item I was asked for, which I found, thankfully, but got rather turned around when attempting to return. But don't worry about me. I'll be fine on my own. Now, if I'm right, then following this road east will lead me to a teleporter, I think? I mean, I know! I have business with your friend anyway. I can escort you. You mean it? Truly? Well, that is, I mean, if you're heading in that direction anyway, I don't see why I shouldn't tag along. Oh no, please. After you. If I'm able to get as far as the teleporter that connects to Point Neukos, I should be able to make the remainder of the trip on my own. Now then, would you mind? You know, accompanied. I confess I don't know up from down or left from right. Every path, hill and clump of trees looks just like the last, but if I can just get to the teleporter that connects to Point Neukos, I ought to be okay. Let's just assume she's riding on the back of a chocobo with me. It's a two-person mount after all. This chocobo. What a relief it is to see a familiar sight. I should be alright without you now. After all, it's just a straight shot from here to Point Neukos. Goodness, the earful I'm going to get from my friend. I kept her waiting for far too long. Well, I really should hurry. She's owed an explanation and a heartful apology. Do come see me, though. I'd like to thank you properly. I should have been upfront with my friend and simply told her why I went back. My blasted pride so often gets in the way. Thank you for your help. Truth be told, when my friend first dashed off, I had assumed it was because she forgot an assignment for Mitron. Lo and behold, I was right. We were studying at the Word of Mitron in Academia Nida, learning all we can about the engendering of aquatic life from that self-same master. Honestly, though, I have no idea why Mitron would ask me to procure a flower of all things, and one that's still undergoing testing in Elpis? It's very beautiful, yes, but what has it to do with its theology? Well, nothing, but that's the point, surely. It must be intended as a present, one meant for Logwith. Mitron is hopelessly enamored, as we all well know. We do? This is certainly news to me, though now that you mention it, I suppose I've seen sparks between them. I wonder why I never noticed before. That settled it. We need to hurry back and begin an in-depth observation of their romantic entanglements. Can't believe I've wasted all this valuable research time lost amongst the trees. And I would have wasted even more if not for you, good lady. Now that my friend and I are together again, we can get back to the academia and deliver the flower to Myton before it wilts. But before we rush off, a reward. You certainly deserve it. Okay, next is Myra. An unexpected guest. Well, this is a pickle. Whatever am I to... please tell me you're here to deliver a message from Cleon. You are a familiar, yes? I am, but I don't have a message. Azim's familiar. Oh, and I do like the name Desiree. But if you belong to Azim, then what has become of our visitor from Amarot? He was meant to arrive some time ago. Wildlife subjects are accustomed to the presence of long-term observers, but when someone from outside of Elpis comes to visit, the reactions can be somewhat unpredictable and occasionally violent. Would you be so kind as to track down Cleon and see that no harm has befallen him? Visitors don't wear masks, so he should be easy to spot. And if you do happen to find him in the process of being mauled, you have my permission to terminate the offending subject. Safety first. Thank you for taking the initiative. I wasn't sure about the etiquette of destroying a creature under observation. I'm Cleon, recently arrived from Amarot. I assume Myra sent you to fetch me? I see. Well, we had best not keep her waiting any longer. Fear not, I will avoid upsetting any more of the local inhabitants. This is Myra, yes? Desiree, thank you for seeing to the safety of our guest. Indeed, my hesitancy to act would have ended poorly had your messenger not been there to shield me. And I'm certainly glad that she was. Now, shall we proceed to the business of the day? I believe you had some concerns regarding your personal creations. Yes, as embarrassing as it is to admit, I was worried that the concepts I registered at the Bureau of the Architect may not be fit for release into the wild. Oh, you needn't feel embarrassed. You wouldn't be the first visitor we had who's expressed difficulty in helping their children leave the nest. We can look in on them right now, if you like. I should like that very much, but I do have one request. When you swooped in to rescue me from that beast, I was treated to an impressive display of battle prowess. An entity with your strength and instinct would be the perfect candidate for evaluating the worth of my modest creations. I must insist that you join us. What a fascinating notion. Yes, I quite agree with your assessment. Then we all go together, whenever you're ready, Desiree. And now we can fly. A better Batrachoy. Thank you for agreeing to accompany us this way, shall we? Certainly. Now, what was the name of your creation again? The Batrachoy, a delightfully roly-poly pudding of a thing. Ah yes, the one over at Rumination's Ramble. My brother, Alkaios, is in charge of tending to it. Right this way, if you please. This is my brother, Alkaios. He might seem a tad gruff, but don't be fooled. There are few more gentle or kind than he. There's my beloved Batrachoy. Did he miss me, I wonder? You must be Desiree. Myra told me so much about you in an impressively short span of time. As you have likely already deduced, I'm your brother Alkaios. You are Cleon, yes? The architect of this Batrachoy, as you call them? Yes, I am. You think I'm ready for release? I would so love to see the endearing rotund forms bounce around free in the wild. I've completed my report for the main evaluation criteria. The final decision will be made after a committee discusses the results. But based upon my personal observation, no, they're not ready. No? And might I ask why? Desiree, would you be so kind as to give this Batrachoy a solid poke? The creature's lack of familiarity with you will help prove my point. Poke? Poke, poke. Bit passive, huh? You see, no response to external stimuli. The creature is far too placid. What was the concept behind the Batrachoy? A defender of water sources? In its current incarnation, it has neither the instincts nor the means to defend itself, much less fend off entities intent upon fouling the waterways. I cannot in good conscience certify a subject so poorly equipped to carry out its intended purpose. In fact, I suggest you redesign your concept entirely. Thank you for your candor. I was so invested in this darling ball of pudgy flesh. Such a pity. Desiree, as it isn't familiar, you must have seen your fair share of the world and its inhabitants. Without altering its physical forms, what do you think the Batrachoy could do to become a more effective guardian? It could use its tongue to grapple opponents. Brilliant, what an innovative mind you have, Desiree. Yes, that may suffice. The introduction of an effective offensive measure could very well tip the scales toward a favorable judgment. Truly? Then I shall modify my concept at once. May I bind this one and take him home with me? Once I've finished making the necessary adjustments, I'll resubmit my design for observation and evaluation. Of course, you are free to do as you wish. I will make a note of it in my logs. I sense your suggestion was based on personal experience, a most valuable source of wisdom. Well done, Desiree. What a helpful familiar you are. Cleon seems so very pleased. Thank you for your creative assistance, Desiree. I knew bringing you along would be a good idea. I almost wish I could have you as my own familiar. It's a shame Ascent hasn't published your concept for the world to see. But seeing as you're here now, would you mind lending me your talents a while longer? There's one other creation of mine that I feel may benefit from your unique perspective. Meekly majestic. You've chosen to stay then. Wonderful! I realize we've only just met, but I feel such a bond with you, Desiree. There's one more concept I need to finalize, and I could think of no other entity I would rather have at my side during these ever so worrisome evaluations. You have my ear somewhere nearby, don't you, Alkaios? Yes, Myra keeps that one under a watchful eye, but I know the spot where it usually roams. Come along, we need to cross the stream here. They go around, I go through. Right, I can fly now. Well, that's strange. Oh, I don't see my ear anywhere, which seems impossible considering how big she is. Odd, this is where it usually spends the greater part of its days. Yes, she never strays far from this spot. Perhaps the scent of unfamiliar visitors has made her wary? Let's split up and try find her. Her being a shaggy four-legged beast with rather majestic horns. Come out, girl. No one's going to harm you. You find a shaggy four-legged beast. And the horns really are rather majestic. This must be the ear. Ah, there she is. The naughty thing. Nicely tracked, Desiree. Hello, my lovely. Come to Myra now. Well, would you look at that? I think she's taking a liking to you, Desiree. And I see that Cleon has a liking for stout and stocky designs. Yes, the heftier the better. The Eo is one of my favorites, rounded, robust, and bristling with spiky protrusions. A truly powerful beast. I envisioned her dominating any habitat she entered. What do you think? She's certainly an imposing specimen. Its physical strength is readily apparent, yes, but more than muscle is needed to dominate a territory. The creature's field of vision is obscured by that mass of wiry hair and curly horns, preventing effective use of its natural weaponry. In the wild, being unable to hunt and catch prey in a consistent manner culminates in a slow death by starvation. It's our recommendation that you redesign the Eo as a grass grazer and resubmit the concept as a candidate for livestock. Livestock? Unsurprisingly, the Eo here is susceptible to nutritional deficiencies, and we must administer regular inferior supplements. As you appear to have gained its trust, would you mind doing the honors? We can convince it to eat anything. Simply splash the creature with this solution. The inferior supplement is absorbed into the Eo's body. Supplemental aether is absolutely essential for such a poor hunter. We wouldn't want the Eo to collapse now, would we? Such a good-natured creature, which is a large part of the problem, I'm afraid. Thank you for tending to my creation, Desiree. My Eo would likely thrive as a livestock animal, but I did so dearly want her to become an apex predator. Oh, maybe there's still hope. You have an eye for these things. Could you offer any more of your insightful suggestions? Unleash the beast. Please, Desiree. I have need of your worldly experience. My Io, my darling, hulking Io, she was meant for more than grazing in the fields. Will you look her over and tell me what must be done? How can I transform her from potential livestock to apex predator? The initial design has flaws, but Cleon's passion for improvement is to be commended. Cleon is very protective of his children, isn't he? I'm very curious to hear the results of your assessment. Upon closer inspection, you can't shake the feeling that you have fought similar beasts before. Yeah. Such magnificent horns, were not all but useless by the creature's poor field of vision. The Eo's monstrous claws seem capable of tearing a man limb from limb. Even with the Eo's limited vision, one swing of its muscular tail would be enough to shatter bones. But for true dominance, the beast will need something more. Something overwhelming. What say you? How can we enhance the deadliness of my creation? Yeah, it's a behemoth. Or the basic concept for what will become a behemoth. Cut back on the horns and the hair, and let her bring those fangs and claws into play. Yes, deceptively simple, but devastatingly effective. I can already picture it. Alkaios, Myra, will you permit me to implement some new ideas? Desiree has given me much to think about. Strictly speaking, any significant adjustments should be authorized by the Bureau of the Architect, but I think we can allow some temporary modifications for the purpose of experimentation. That sounds more than fair, thank you. If you could spare a few more moments, I should take my creation and return with a new and improved Io. You make me wonder, Desiree. Are you truly familiar? Your thoughts, your behavior. They resemble ours far too closely. After living for years on end, our creativity tends to stagnate, I feel. Your revelations come as such a welcome breath of fresh air. Cleon has been gone for more than a few moments. How extensive could these changes of his possibly be? It's done. So spikes more on the tail? Cleon, you've certainly been busy, haven't you? Desiree's advice began the process, then it became difficult to stop. After pruning back the horns and hair, I reinforced the talons, then moved on to arcane ability. She can now cast Meteor as well as Charybdis. Surely now my Io stands at the pinnacle of predators? In all my time as an observer, I have seen many a creation, but this concept ranks in the highest echelons. The strength inherent in your Io is more than sufficient to ensure its dominance. Wonderful. Then I shall submit my refinements to the Bureau at once. But I think perhaps this new incarnation requires a new name. And I know just for familiar to bestow it. Desiree, have you a fitting title for this glorious creature? Behemoth seems apt. Ah, perfect. So it shall be known, at least for now. I shall need to submit the official registration. And now the time has come for me to return to Amaroth. I've decided that my next creation will be more of a companion, a pet if you will, suitable for the amusement of children and very clever familiars. Thank you all again for this most productive visit. I hope I might impose upon you again soon. Wait, are you the Amaroth team we met in for one quest who gave us an unfinished concept for a toy, which turned out to be a bunch of slimes that attacked me? Was that you? We always enjoy hosting visitors with such enthusiasm for our work. Yes, and we very much look forward to observing your future concepts. Well, brother, Desiree, shall we head back to Point Neukos? And it could have been livestock. But no, he wanted a behemoth. You did well, Desiree. What a wonderful help you were with our visitor, Desiree. Even for a familiar of Asm, I cannot help but be impressed by your intelligence and unique sense of creativity. I wholeheartedly agree. Your intervention salvaged some promising but unfortunately flawed creations. You have our gratitude for providing us with such a fascinating experience. Oh, Alkaios, must you always be so formal? Although he has trouble expressing it, I assure you, my brother is absolutely giddy with joy. Thank you again, Desiree. While I'm sure your duties as a familiar keep you occupied, we would very much welcome another chance to share your company. What do we have next? Ah, this is from the... Myra and her brother looked set to leave on an errand of some kind. Tell me, Desiree, have you seen much of Anagnoresis? Oh, so you've met Overseer Sorkless, huh? He sent my brother a request for aid, and we were just on our way to render our assistance. You're welcome to come along, if you like. You may be interested to witness what duty which lies ahead. Come along, we mustn't keep the Overseer waiting. I've not crossed over to this isle in some time. There's only one reason they would ask for me by name. Desiree, you're acquainted with Alkaios and his sister, I see. Alkaios, Myra, and Desiree as well, welcome all of you. A summons from you can only mean one thing. There's been an incident? Yes, Vilikaionis went into a frenzy, and more than a few of our observational projects were prematurely ended. Ah, so even connected to the main quest, yeah? We began the sending rites, of course, but the task is burdensome for so few. Thus did I hope to secure your particular expertise. Oh, you wouldn't be aware of the practice, would you, Desiree? Here in Elpis, we expedite the ethereal dissipation of a deceased by employing time magics. The decay of corporeal remains is accelerated and absorbed back into the ground upon which we stand. As you may have guessed, the manipulation of time is Alkaio's specialty. Whenever some unexpected event results in a mass loss of creations, it is him to whom they turn. That we do. Nevertheless, I do regret tearing you away from your important work. I've prepared a site to the southwest, so if you'll follow me, we can put this unpleasant business behind us in short order. The Overseer and I move the bodies here, away from the site of violence. It's easier that way. Occupatus. When you research such an eclectic collection of wildlife, it's almost inevitable that some of them will meet their sudden and unanticipated demise. This is them, the Occupatus, which fell victim to the Lycaonis. They were still being evaluated, yes? But poor things, they barely had a chance to fulfill their design. Their flesh and bones will return to the land. We will ensure that their existence was not in vain. Seeing life take mid-purpose can be distressing. Have you witnessed such events before, Desiree? Tell me, how do you express yourself at times? An offering of Namia lilies? Namia lilies, a beautiful name for a flower, but not one I've heard of. I wonder if it was recently registered. And you offer these lilies to the fallen. Interesting. We do have a custom of gifting flowers to those we love and admire, so suppose this is not so different. Perhaps I can prepare some blooms to take the place of the ones we mentioned? Come with me, Desiree. You can help me gather something suitable. Here, I've made some flowers of our own. Even those fashioned directly of aether tend to sprout with more life and color when you grow them in the soil. Pick yourself a handful and we'll take them back to the Overseer. Oh, I'll just be fine by myself, but it's sweet of you to worry. I'll pick a few more of these quinoi and then join you in a little while. When you're finished with helping Myra, it isn't safe to wander alone. Your thought process truly is amazing, but we encounter these notions that have never even occurred to us. Myra's creations were acceptable, I trust? A beautiful and ancient predecessor to the modern lily. My apologies, I may have gotten a little carried away with the flowers. Not at all, Myra. Your effort is much appreciated. Alkaios, if you would be so kind. Vessels within which life once flowed, cheated of purpose, stilled and cold. Unto the land you now return, the fuel upon which new life shall burn. That was a beautiful service. I like to think it brought some joy to their departed souls, much as one feels when receiving a thoughtful gift. Yes, the flowers were a perfect addition. How fortunate we are to have this knowledgeable familiar in our midst. We must return and commit this event to parchment while it remains fresh in our minds. A potential shift in our traditions is a historical moment worth recording. Thank you again, Alkaios. We are ever grateful for your calming presence. And our thanks to you, Myra and Desiree, not only for attending but also elevating the proceedings. Yes, you've contributed more than enough. Allow us to take care of the tedious administrative details. We hope to see you again soon, Desiree. It is time we headed back ourselves, dear sister. As you say. Please, Desiree, join us back in Point Neukos. That was a different kind of service. I think, yes, we might consider some changes. What a fortuitous turn of events that you were present when we received the summons to Anagnoresis. As time marches on, we encounter fewer and fewer of these truly new experiences. Yet ever since you appeared, it's been one surprise after another. I suppose we should expect nothing less from one of Azam's creations. And now we have these precious new ideas and perspectives to apply to our duties moving forward. Speaking of which, we really must be returning to our work. Be well, Desiree, and thank you. May our purposes, or simply our paths, align again in the future. Bye. Now, and among players, there has been a theory that Alkaios and Myra, because of Alkaios' time magic, and Myra and the lilies, may be or may become the Eorzean gods Alphig and Nymea. Brother Time and Sister Fate. But that shall be it for this episode. Until next time when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I'm Ace, and don't get lost.